A quiet classroom. Morning light through the windows. Students whispering. Then chaos explodes. A teenage boy stands up. No warning. No argument. Just a knife in his hand. Within seconds, a normal school day turns into a crime scene. This is the story of a violent incident inside a Russian school involving a Tajik student. And what it reveals is far deeper than one act of violence. You need to understand the pattern behind the moment. Because this was not just a random attack. It was the result of pressure building over time. Reports from local authorities describe a teenage boy, originally from Tajikistan, studying in a Russian school. Like many migrant families, his parents had moved for work. Russia hosts millions of Central Asian migrants. Many of them take low-income jobs. Their children enter local schools. On paper, integration looks simple. In reality, it rarely is. Language barriers hit first. Russian becomes a daily struggle. Miscommunication leads to isolation. Teachers often lack resources to support migrant students properly. Then comes social pressure. Studies from Russian education monitoring groups show that migrant children are more likely to face bullying. In some regions, over 30% report harassment linked to ethnicity or language. Now imagine this from the boy's perspective. You walk into class every day feeling like an outsider. Your accent stands out. Your background becomes your label. Every mistake gets noticed. Every silence gets judged. Over time, this builds frustration. Psychologists call this accumulated stress response. When pressure has no release, it looks for an exit. Sometimes that exit is destructive. According to preliminary investigation reports, the boy had shown behavioral changes before the incident. Withdrawal, irritability, sudden mood swings. These are classic warning signs. But here is the problem. Most systems miss these signs. Teachers are overworked. Schools focus on discipline, not mental health. Students rarely report concerns until it is too late. On the day of the attack, witnesses say the boy acted suddenly. No long argument, no clear trigger in that moment. This is important because it shows the cause was not that day. It was everything before it. Inside the classroom, panic spread instantly. Students ran. Some froze. Teachers tried to intervene. Emergency services were called within minutes. The response was fast. But prevention had failed. Authorities detained the boy quickly. An investigation followed. Officials focused on motive, background, and possible influences. Early findings suggested no organized extremist link, no larger network. This was an individual act. But that does not mean it happened in isolation. Data from the Russian Ministry of Internal Affairs shows a steady increase in youth-related violent incidents. While still rare, the trend is rising. Experts point to three main factors: social isolation, mental health neglect, and identity conflict. Migrant students often sit at the center of all three. They are caught between two cultures, not fully accepted in either. At home, they follow one set of norms. At school, another. This creates internal tension. Now add economic pressure. Many migrant families live in tight financial conditions. Parents work long hours. Supervision drops. Emotional support weakens. The result is a gap. And in that gap, anger grows. This case triggered strong reactions across Russia. Media coverage increased. Public debate intensified. Some voices blamed migration. Others pointed to systemic failure. The truth sits in between. Blaming an entire group hides the real issue. Ignoring the social conditions allows the pattern to repeat. You need to focus on what can be measured. Schools with structured integration programs show lower incident rates. Regions that introduce language support and counseling saw up to a 20% drop in behavioral incidents. That is data. Now look at the opposite side. Schools without support systems report higher conflict levels. Teachers rely on punishment. Students disengage faster. This creates a cycle. Disconnection leads to frustration. Frustration leads to aggression. Aggression leads to consequences. And the system resets without fixing the cause. Law enforcement plays a role after the incident, but prevention happens before it. In this case, several warning points existed. Behavioral changes, social isolation, possible bullying. Each one was a signal. None were acted on effectively. You might ask, could this have been stopped? In many cases, yes. Early psychological assessment programs have shown strong results. Schools that conduct regular emotional check-ins reduce violent incidents significantly. Peer monitoring systems also work. Students often notice changes before adults do. Structured reporting channels give them a safe way to speak. But these systems require investment, and many institutions do not prioritize them. Another factor is digital influence. Investigators also examine online activity. Exposure to violent content can shape behavior, especially in vulnerable individuals. While no confirmed link was established here, global research shows that repeated exposure to violent narratives can normalize aggression. So you have three layers: internal pressure, external environment, and digital influence. When all align negatively, risk increases. This incident is a clear example. It forces a difficult question. Are schools prepared for modern psychological challenges? Most are not. Education systems still focus heavily on academic output. Emotional intelligence remains secondary. But incidents like this show the cost of that gap. You cannot treat students as only learners. They are individuals under pressure. The aftermath led to tighter security measures, increased monitoring, stricter controls. These steps create short-term safety, but they do not address root causes. Real change requires earlier action, teacher training, accessible counseling, integration. Without these, the pattern continues. One incident fades, another appears. You need to look beyond the headline. A boy with a knife is the final moment. The real story is everything that led him there. This answer decides everything.